I was recently doing an intensive and there was a lady there, and we were talking about the whole idea of just accepting the moment as it is. What I found was that asking her to simply accept the moment seemed to be quite an overwhelming task for her. So we kind of got into it. It got quite confrontational. And I found it rather interesting because really all I was asking was for her to just simply accept the moment as it was and just let go of whatever she thought was holding her back. However, it seemed to be causing quite a bit of confrontation, and it seemed to be causing quite a bit of agitation in her. So we kind of went forward and backwards with this until I remember having this idea of let's ask her to just accept just a little bit, possibly. And I remember asking her, look, could you accept just a little bit? You know, could you just accept this moment, just a little bit? And could you learn to love yourself just a little bit? And it was incredible how, for a woman who'd basically been kind of toing and froing with me prior to that, she was able to make these small changes. And I wasn't aware of at the time as to what the impact would be. All I needed was some sort of conceding from her and from her mind to kind of move us forward, so to speak. What I found was the next day we then met up again. She came to the next session, and there was just a complete difference in this person. It was almost like, you know, it was a different person altogether. And she came in, and we have a standing joke between us that the first time we met, she said the word "so much suffering," and I'm always kind of reminding her of that. And what happened was, as she walked in, I started joking about suffering, and she just laughed with me. And you could tell something had obviously changed overnight. And you could also see that the idea of just accepting was now very, very easy for her. As we discussed things further, she'd found that accepting herself was quite easy. And obviously loving herself was just as easy. It didn't require the effort that she thought it would. Because I've recently come across a lot of seekers who believe that seek is a noble quest, and there's got to be a lot of pain, and there's got to be a lot of suffering, and that somehow there's these certain standards that have to be met. And one of the things that comes up is a lot of them don't feel that they're worthy. So to accept themselves and to love themselves when there's this sense of unworthiness can become quite hard to do, and it leads to quite a bit of confrontation when you're just saying ordinary things that possibly, you know, wouldn't faze, you know, a lot of people. But by using this kind of step-by-step approach of getting people to maybe possibly make a small step in the right direction, what you can find, and this is what I found in the situation, was that it created this chain reaction. It kind of created this snowball effect, whereby all of a sudden, what was really needed was just this one conversation in which just making a slight movement in the direction of an acceptance of the moment as it is, or loving ourselves regardless of whatever our flaws are, regardless of whatever we feel we've done or we're unworthy or what have you, can kind of mushroom and become something quite significant. What I found then with this lady was over the next couple of days, one of the things she said to me was she felt like she started a process and things were just starting to be let go of. But she also saw it as a beginning of something. What was beautiful was then I noticed I didn't really need to have a conversation as the woman went, you know, more and more into what she actually was. But what was really interesting and what it kind of showed me was that sometimes, you know, we're there telling people to let go and we're telling people to accept the moment as it is, and it can be a bit too much for our mind, you know, that's conditioned to kind of counter these things anyway. I mean, we've heard the sound bites like it's just this and let go and the acceptance of a moment changes everything, and it's all rather simple. But what we seem to have forgotten is that the mind has heard this so many times that it's learned to counter that. It's learned to get away around it. And what can then happen is it's heard, but it's not really heard. So by possibly, and again, it's not a technique. I tend to stress in my videos that what I'm talking about is not a technique. It's something that allow, you know, to occur naturally. By using an approach where we're incrementally, and we're not just talking about acceptance here, but just incrementally moving towards the destination or the realization, what we can find is it takes off a lot of the pressure from the seeker. It also kind of counters the mind as well, and kind of finds a way for us to navigate past the mind and the ego, and allows us to see more and more what we are. The momentum that it then creates basically means that a lot of people are then able to continue on their journey with the relevant strength, with the relevant knowledge, and with the relevant understanding that what they are actually seeking is themselves.